Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 7-3. We're working on negative exponents today. I'm on page 21. Make sure you're taking notes and label everything. Please, your examples, your checks, label it all. Okay? So the first thing we're going to look at is zero exponents. So any non-zero number raised to the zero power is equal to 1. So look, if it's a to the zero power, this whole thing just turns into the number 1. The a disappears, all of it. It just turns into 1. Okay? So let's practice that. We're going to look at it two different ways. If all of it gets raised to the zero power, well, guess what? This just equals 1. That's the whole answer. 1. Okay? This one's a little different because it gives the exponent just with some of the variables. So we're going to look at a and then we're going to look at b. This is still a to the fourth divided by a to the second. 4 minus 2 is 2. So I have a to the second. But then this whole b thing right here turns into 1. I don't need to put a 1 in front of the a, so that's it. That's my answer. So when it turns into 1, it's almost like it doesn't disappear. It just kind of sits there in front. The invisible 1. Go ahead and try that check for me. You're going to work out all these zeros and see what happens. Ready? Okay. Hopefully you paused the video and tried this. I'm going to start with 56 divided by 8. That's 7. I've got g to the second. You can go minus 0. It doesn't do anything. Or that turns into 1. That turns into 1. That turns into 1. So it doesn't really change anything. So I'm taking all this stuff from up here and it stays the same. G to the second, h, j to the 11th. That gives me the answer of A. Okay, moving on to more about negative exponents. So there's rules. Any non-zero real number can be raised to a negative power. That is called a negative exponent. For any non-zero number, so like a is negative, it's the reciprocal. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. If I have a negative n, okay, this is going to turn into, you can't have negative exponents. If it's a negative exponent, you need to change it because it cannot stay negative. So because this is basically on top of an invisible 1, you're going to flip it. Put that 1 on top and bring this and push it down. But you can also do the same thing. If it was on the bottom and it was negative, you can push it up. So the inverse, the reciprocal, you're going to flip it. You're going to push it to the other side. Okay? An expression is considered simplified when it contains only positive exponents. Each base appears exactly once. There's no powers of powers, and all fractions are in simplest forms. Those are the things you got to make sure to make it completely simplified, and that's the only answer that is going to be a true answer. Okay? So, example 2. Let's take it one at a time. I'm looking at my A. There's nothing below it. I can't do anything to it, so I'm just going to write a to the third. I look at my B. It's negative. It can't be negative, so I'm going to push it from the top of the fraction, the numerator, down to the denominator. So instead of b to the negative fourth on top, it's going to be b to the fourth on the bottom. Now I go to C. C says negative 2 on the bottom. I can't have it negative, so I'm going to push it to the top. C to the second. That's my answer. It's the inverse. You flip it. But if you think about it gets pushed to the other side. Okay? There's a check for example 2. It's pretty simple. Okay? Pause. Try this on your own. Pay attention to your numbers. So we're going to start with 42 divided by 14. That is 3. So this is 3. Look at my r's. Okay? This is still means subtraction. So right now my r is negative 2 minus 2. Because this is negative 2 minus 2. Negative 2 minus 2 equals negative 4. So right now I have r negative 4 on top, but I can't leave that on top, so I'm going to push it to the bottom. So I'm going to have r to the fourth on bottom to make it not negative. Okay? Now I have t. There's no t below, but this is negative. I can't have it negative, so I'm going to push it down. So instead of t to the negative 6th on top, I'm going to have t to the 6th on bottom. Now look at my u. U is 3 minus negative 3. Think about that. 3 minus negative 3. So that's actually 3 plus 3. Make sure I'm not doing this wrong. Yep. 3 plus 3, which is 6. So I have u to the 6th because it's no longer negative. 3 minus negative 3. 3 plus 3 equals 6. U to the 6th stays on top. Okay? So when you're doing this subtraction, the answer stays on top, but if it's negative, then you push it to the bottom. That's how you know which side it's going to be. So my 3, u to the 6th, 4, or r to the 4th, t to the 6th, this is going to be b. Okay? Ask if you are confused about this. Okay? Example 3. We're just going to simplify again. Looking here, one of the changes is they put the smaller number in the numerator than the denominator. So you have to remember how to simplify fractions like this. So I'm going to start with 3 and negative 36. That's what I'm starting with. This is allowed to be negative. And when the big number, when the base number, when the coefficient is negative, we end up just putting it out in front of the answer a lot of times, or on the top. But what are 3 and 36 both divisible by? You can divide them both by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so it's invisible. I'm not going to write it. 36 divided by 3 is 13. 36 divided by 3, 12, sorry. So I've got 1 over 12. But I don't need to put that 1 unless there's nothing else on top. So I'm just going to leave it kind of invisible right now. My negative's on the top. It could be out in front, either one. That's just the way that fractions are actually written when they're simplified, is either in the front or on the top. They don't generally leave them on the bottom. Okay, let's look at G. I've got negative 3 minus, because this means minus, 3. Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6. All right? Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6. I can't leave G negative 6 on the top, so I'm going to push it to the bottom to be a G positive 6. I've got H. I've got 2 minus 1, right? 2 minus 1, which is 1. So I can just leave my H on top. It's just going to be H. I've got J, nothing on top, but I've got a negative 4 on bottom. So I'm going to push it to the top to be J to the 4th. And there's my answer. Okay? You're almost done. You need to pause and do the check for example 3. Remember, figure out what they can both be divided by. You ready? Multiple choice gives it away for you, but I'm still going to work it out. I've got 35 over 14. It gives you the answer, not what can they both be divided by. Both of those can be divided by 7. 35 divided by 7 is 5. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Now let's look at our exponents. This is h to the 0. Oh, what happens to that? That turns into 1, so it goes away. So this is h to the 2nd on the bottom, and I'm going to leave h to the 2nd on the bottom. Next, I'm going to do j. J has a negative 5 on top, so I'm going to push it to positive 5 on the bottom. K has a negative 2 on top, so I'm going to push it down. K to the 2nd. And then I've got this M here, which is a positive M. So M to the 5th. So the thing here is you need to make sure it's supposed to be in alphabetical order. So H, I, J, K, L, M. But you notice this didn't, they're not all in alphabetical order. So you're going to look around and find the one that matches, right? That one doesn't match. That one doesn't match. These two have 5 on top. Which one? I've got 2, H. Oh, that's supposed to be H to the 2nd. Here's H to the 2nd, J5, M5, K2. So our answer is C. It always tells us to write in alphabetical order. I'm not sure why they didn't do the alphabetical order. Okay? That's it for negative exponents. Ask if you have questions. We will practice some when it comes time for teacher table. Okay? Have a good day.